We were talking earlier about a Dallas Morning news piece that kind of talked about Jerry Jones possibly opening himself up to the idea of something that the Packers did, which is just kind of draft a quarterback every once in a while. Take a flyer, whether mid-rounds, late rounds, because there was a decade from 91 to 2001 where the Packers took 7 quarterbacks in 10 years. And so we were kind of talking about it. Do you agree with kind of that mentality of every once in a while, just take a flyer on a quarterback and see what happens?
I mean, so in any other instance, I think it would be a normal thing. But when it's the Cowboys, obviously it has to be a huge deal if there's any conversation of them possibly picking up. And honestly, if you want to be real, it would make sense. Like, there's no guarantee that Cooper Rush is going to be here, given the fact that he actually performed well, in that time that he was starting. I'm sure there might be someone that's like, hey, I want you to be my backup. There's no guarantee he's going to be here. Will Greer is someone that we were taking a look at. He dealt with some injuries during camp and stuff. So it's very possible that they could be, looking to get a quarterback in the late rounds. And like I said, in any other instance, it's normal. But when you're talking about the Cowboys and all the conversation about Dak and all this stuff, then, of course, it's going to be a big deal. So it's hard out here.
Well, the Cowboys have proven in years past they're not really good at that whole evaluating quarterback thing.
Because they got blessed. Quite honestly, I think it's so interesting to see how the fan base sometimes reacts to Dak. And I'm like, y'all, do y'all remember? Look, do you remember what position we were in? Do you guys remember how tough it was? Because, Kellen got injured. It was just like Dak was the third quarterback on? Was he a third or fourth quarterback?
He was third after Jamil Showers had gone.
Oh,
please stop.
Wow, Jamil Showers.
Yep.
But that's just even crazy to think about. And so sometimes I just think what they say, beggars can't be choosers. Like, the nerve of y'all to be so critical of this man, and ain't no telling what we would have been in. Ain't no telling.
All right, so before we get to more draft-specific questions, and we're going to talk about this a little more in the next segment, Iisha convinced me why the Cowboys shouldn't sign Bobby Wagner.
Oh, there's no convincing for me because there's no convincing. I'm just being straight up. There's no convincing for me. We were just talking, and we talked about this on Girls Talk, Boys Talk today. It may be difficult to emotionally part ways with some of these gentlemen on this roster, but if you can upgrade at linebacker or at least get somebody in here that linebacker, like, heck yeah, why not? And then also, too, Anthony Barr was just here, to help out this year. We don't know if he's going to be back this year, so I'm totally for it. And he played well this year. If you go watch him, like, I was watching him a little bit earlier because it just got my attention, and I'm like, this dude looks like the same dude. The Rams they put themselves in tough spots, and they're probably really trying to figure some things out. So I kind of understood why they decided to part ways. So I was definitely looking to it, man. You see Twitter, you see Cowboy Nation doing their thing.
I was acting up when I saw the news. Like, yep, bring that Bobby Wagner right on over here. Yep, bring that right on over here. That's right.
And I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Also, too, you really do still have a pretty young linebacker core. Or when you talk about Damone Clark, who came in, played in the middle of the season out of nowhere, he has a lot more developing to do, but you see good things from him. And then also, too, a gentleman I'm really looking at is Devin Harper, the gentleman they took last year. I'm looking to see if he's going to make a difference on this defense or be involved with the linebacker core. So these guys need mentorship. And so I'm like, if LVE is not here, no guarantees. We don't know if he's not here, if Anthony Barr's not here. I would love to have a gentleman like Bobby Wagner come in and be able to talk to these guys and get them better. Also frees up Micah to do whatever you want.
Love it.
We're talking to Iisha Morrison of DallasCowboys.com, Girls Talk, Boys Talk, also the draft show on DallasCowboys.com, and
all the shows.
All of them. Mm-hmm. And now let's get in. That's right. Let's get into some of the draft here.
Okay.
First of all, what are the positions that the Cowboys absolutely must address in the first 2 days of the draft?
Oh God, I'm trying to see the draft is teaching me, best player available is teaching me that. But if I was, if I was them, I would. Can I tell you what I wouldn't mind? Is that better?
Yeah,
okay.
no problem.
Okay.
No problem.
So I wouldn't mind an offensive lineman, specifically a guard, and I wouldn't mind that. I would not mind a wide receiver, obviously. I think that's clear as day. And I think they could go DB for sure. I think they could go DB, and it'd be okay. It'd be totally fine. Whether that be corner, because we saw how bad the lack of depth at corner. And when I say depth, I mean not just gentlemen being there, but guys that are able to play the position at a high level. We saw that was a problem towards the end of the season with a lot of the injuries. So I'm totally for getting a DB. I've also mentioned safety, which is, it doesn't seem like it's a big point of conversation, but I mean, you got a lot of guys whose contracts are going to be up soon. We're not sure if Donovan Wilson's a free agent this year. I mean, hey man, say man. So DB, offensive line, specifically guard, I feel like, and I would not mind a wide receiver, obviously.
Okay, so I'm going to throw a little wrench into that plan, okay?
All right.
Because I'm on the trade the 26th overall pick, and let's see what let's see what Arizona talking about with that whole DeAndre Hopkins situation.
Ooh, sugar. And
see if, so we can make something shake over there. What you think about that?
Okay, so how do I say this? Do you feel like, I'm not, and I could be wrong, but I feel like a lot of people compared CD to D-Hop coming out of college. Am I wrong? Did you guys hear that? Was that a comp that you thought was a thing? I don't know. Also, too, I was looking at what type of, me and my guy Matt Owen, Professor O, shout out to him, we were talking about what type of receivers would has Mike McCarthy gone after before and stuff. And I'm just going to start looking into if that receiver fits that mold. And I don't know if D-Hop fits the mold of, how the Cowboys like to do their thizzle.
Yeah,
I mean, CDM kind of just was a blessing. So I would be for it. No, I wouldn't be for it. I couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it, huh?
Well, it would be barring how D-Hop is health-wise. And then also, he had the thing that came up at the beginning of the season. I think you would have to have a very good understanding of where he is mentally and stuff, especially coming to Dallas. But to give up 26 isn't that far. I don't know, dude. I don't know if I would do it. I would have to sit on it. I'm not good at these decisions. That's why I don't make them.
So she just said she wants Michael Thomas when he gets cut from the Saints.
Please stop. There's sometimes, y'all, I swear all the respect to Michael Thomas, there's sometimes I forget that he is still, here. I feel like, when is the last time we seen him play?
She said I didn't know he was still in the league. Wow, right. That's incredible. That's sincerely.
I did not say that. I said I'm just surprised when I hear people mention him sometimes because it's been so long. Has he played? Is he?
It's been a minute.
Barely.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Not barely, Reggie.
What? Okay.
You can't say barely, man.
I mean, that's the answer. That's the answer to the question.
No, barnacles. I don't we just want Michael Thomas. We don't want a whole bunch of people running slants. I think you would do best having versatility in your wide receiver core.
What's with the shade on Michael Thomas?
We don't want slant boy over here.
Wow.
All right, I'm being shady. Let's not do that.
Wow. Ain't TikTok boy in Kansas City. Now she don't want slant boy coming to Dallas. What's happening?
Y'all, first of all, y'all not about to get me fired on my day off. Y'all, stop it.
Okay.
Stop it. Even though we are going to see slants and some other stuff, but we're definitely going to see slants, which I'm okay with if you have guys that got, the athleticism to break tackles and have yak ability.
Absolutely.
So I'm ready for that.
Yeah. Okay. So within the groups of players, you talked about interior offensive linemen, you talked about wide receiver, you talked about defensive backs. Within those groups, it's early on into the process of scouting and looking at players, but I mean, just out of that, is there a few players that come to mind that you've really liked as you started getting into this process?
Yeah, so from a cornerback perspective, I think there's a gentleman, Emmanuel Forbes, out of I think Mississippi State, if I'm not mistaken. Is that it? Is that where he's at? Let me see. Let me make sure I ain't trying to lie to y'all. And then get in trouble. But
he did play Mississippi State. You are correct.
Okay, great. So yeah, Emmanuel Forbes, he's been my guy since the start of I don't know how I came across him, but I started looking at him, and man, he has his ball skills. I think his ball skills are top notch. He takes the ball away at a very, very high clip. Obviously, he's going to take some risks, but he has a lot of Trayvon. He has a lot of Trayvon in him. I do think he could use a little bit more size, and I think that's a reason why he might not be super high on some people's boards. But if you're willing to be like, hey, this guy has a nose for the ball, he's a smart player, he's going to give your offense the ball often. And he's a tone setter. He got an attitude to him. He's really good in press as well. So if you think that you want a guy that's going to be on your team that's going to take the ball away, I'm like, that's Emmanuel Forbes. I feel like he most definitely should be on the Cowboys' radar, because he just, to me, when you look at this defense and how much they take the ball away, he would fit so well. And opposite of Trayvon, I think it would just be very difficult. There would be a lot of business decisions made by a quarterback if they wanted to throw the ball at either one of them. And I love that. So for corner, that's my gentleman that I like right now. And I've been looking at some other guys, but he's my pet cat, I guess you want to say, right now.
Fantastic.